Niall McGrath here for SevereMMA.com. I'm joined by Rhys McKee, who's a big fight coming up in Dublin next Friday night against Jai Herbert for that BAMMA Lonsdale title. Rhys, first of all, great to have you back on, man. Always a pleasure to talk to you. How's all with you, my friend? You keeping well?
Yeah, going good. Getting ready for this fight. Thanks for having me back on the show. It's always a good one.
Always fun to chat with you, mate. In relation to you've had obviously a short pro career, Rhys. This is, by far and away the biggest fight of your career. Is that fair to say?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's for the British Lonsdale title. I built that great champion had, Mark Diakese. Look what he's doing. He's actually fighting tonight now.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
It shows the progression route that's possible from winning this belt, and that's something that I've been preparing for. I know the possibilities from this are enormous, so I've been preparing well for that.
You were talking potentially about, and I was quite disappointed that the UFC didn't sign a fighter for the UFC Belfast card. Now, looking back in hindsight, are you sort of glad maybe there wasn't any contact with the UFC because, you're 4-0, and as you said to me last time, it's about baby steps, making progression, and, obviously that's a big step if you're going to win this BAMMA Lonsdale title on Friday night.
Mm-hmm. Well, put it this way, if the UFC was in any other town but Belfast, I wouldn't have tried to make a campaign. It was just,
of course.
It was only 20 minutes away from home, so I thought, if I got a chance, it's now. I didn't think I would get the call, and I didn't get the call. So for me, it's nothing lost. It was all to gain. But I will be in the UFC eventually. I don't believe the time is right. I think I've got plenty of more wins to get under my belt, more experience to add, more importantly. But I'll get there. I'll be there soon enough.
No, I agree with you. We even said it, myself and Sean on the podcast this week, that you were one of our top prospects to get into the UFC in the next sort of 24 months. Definitely, I believe you'll be there. So I'm not blowing smoke up your ass, but that's generally what I think. It's obviously been a very, very tough year for you. You lost your dad. How's the mindset? It's a very, very traumatic time. How have you dealt? How have you coped with it?
Well, it was start of October. Unfortunately, it happened. It's been a bit of a whirlwind from accepting the fight. I accepted the fight the week after, and a lot of people said, are you wise doing this? And I owe a lot to MMA. MMA has been my saviour through this all. I'm the most motivated Rhys McKee there's ever been. I haven't skipped a beat in training. Listen, everything I do at the minute will be dedicated to that man. He is my biggest fan, and truly was my hero. But I believe you'll see the best Rhys McKee in that cage because of but I wouldn't say because of what's happened, because it's not in any way I would take what happened. But it's taking the positive from such a horrible situation.
Is that to do a lot with the people that you have around you? You've Rodney, you've the rest of the team, the guys there. Obviously the rest of your family. They've obviously helped you through the time, and obviously you said MMA, training the whole time, the support set up around you, that's obviously been a huge help too.
Oh, massively. I can't thank everybody enough, from the whole MMA community to my family to my friends to the gym. Everybody's truly phenomenal, for getting me through the time. But like I said, being on them mats, training for an opponent, training for a fight, it's been unbelievable. And I really, a lot of people saying, are you coming in this fight mentally the best you have? I can reassure people that there is no weakness here. I can guarantee you I'm coming hungrier than ever. And I can't say it any more clear than that, why I'm coming for this.
Obviously that's going to be, it's a very difficult thing to do, to keep your emotions on check and fight week, especially after what's gone on in your life in the last few months. Has it been hard, as you said, to separate that, or is this just a plus and a motivation to make yourself better and compete better and win that title?
Yeah, totally a motivation. Like I said, it's using the positive, or trying to take the positive out of it. It's a career changing opportunity for me.
Of course.
When I'm in that match, nothing else matters. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that this fight can't be easy, but I'm coming to fight, and that's all that really matters at this time. And I'm going to drape that belt over my shoulder and dedicate it to the big man.
Definitely. Jai Herbert, a guy similar record to you. He's 4-0. what are you expecting from what can you tell the fans maybe that don't know an awful lot about him? He's fought in the UK scene, maybe BAMMA fans who don't know about him. What type of fighter is he?
Jai's a brilliant fighter. He brings a lot to the table. He's like myself. He's that rangy style fighter. Yeah. He's good boxing. Yeah, Jai's a good fighter. Or Jai, I rank him highly. But I think the main difference in me and Jai is I fought higher level opponents.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask you. Yeah, do you think that's going to be a big advantage for you? That was actually my next question. The fact that you fought. You've beaten Tommy McCafferty, obviously a little bit of controversial fashion. How just before we move on, how do you look back on that fight now? Obviously you've seen the replays of it. You're going to take the victory, obviously, but it was obviously a little bit controversial, Rhys. How do you feel about that?
Well, you go to any MMA class in the world and they're not going to teach you to defend strikes with your head.
Yeah, so, that's true. That is true.
It's just... Listen, the new age is here. The old school is out. That's all I can say about it.
It certainly is. It certainly
not
is.
Not being a about it, but our camp was very respectful. And I don't think it's the same on both sides. But sure, that's win a win.
Definitely. But we look at your striking, and for me, you've been faultless in what you've done in your pro career. That was obviously the referee's fault, but as you said, their camp wasn't very respectful. How good is your striking? Everyone talks about your striking and how technically good you are, how strong you look, how powerful you've been on your feet. Do you think that you're at an advantage at everyone else in that division in BAMMA with your striking ability?
I think so. You've got your average 1-2 leg kick style fighter. Yeah. I call them. They're basics. I'm not basic. My opponents don't know what I'm going to hit them with for one reason. I don't know what I'm going to throw next. I'm the most unorthodox fighter there is. I hit hard. I can fight off the back foot, front foot. I believe in the best striker in the division, lightweight, no problems. But this fight I've improved all areas. I've had it strength and conditioning. My wrestling's come on, my grappling's come on. But I believe this will be a good striking fight. I had the best striker in the division, in my opinion.
Almost in sort of a perverse way. Would you like a tough, solid test? Maybe go third, late second, third round to really test you, because you haven't spent much time in the cage. In fairness, in your pro career.
100%. That's what I've said to a lot of people. If Jai gets out of the first with me, I believe it'll be one of them fights where we're both trading shots and slipping, ducking, whatever. 1 for 1 kind of. That's what I want. That's these are the opponents I want. I don't want to go out and my last fight lasted a minute. I spent 8 weeks training for this fight. I want people to bring out the best of me, because the thing I like breaking people. I like seeing them fade, and that's when I rise. So I'll not break in there.
You said if he gets out of the first round. So you're not expecting him to get out of the first round. It obviously says a lot for your confidence. Again, is that what you're expecting for you to finish him in that first?
I believe so. It's no disrespect to Jai. Jai comes from a great camp. He's a great fighter. I'm sure if you ask Jai the same question, he wouldn't expect me to get out of the first. So, no, I don't expect him to. I think if I land clean and hard and fast, that's what it'll be.
You said the new generation, and I feel very much that way. Especially with a lot of the guys up in Northern Ireland. We've Carl Moore, we've John McColgan, we've yourself, we've Alan. Guys who I think we've always realised that have had potential, but you're really sort of coming to the forefront now. Is there real excitement in the mixed martial arts community up in Northern Ireland? Because obviously, sometimes in the past, I think Norman mentioned it as well, the media support wasn't there. It was a lot from us guys down south. Do you really feel there's a buzz now on the circle of guys that are really making that breakthrough onto the big time?
Yeah, there is, to be honest. Though all my media coverage comes through yourself, the guys from the south. It's the media up here is always going to be a joke. They're not really for it. Until we drag them up to the gym. But look, there is a buzz. Me, Alan, Joe, Carl. All them guys, Andy. We're flying the flag for Northern Ireland, and showing we're not to mess with. We can bang with the best.
How much, I know you guys especially, we'd Alan on, I was speaking with Alan earlier on this evening, Alan brings a lot of support from up in Ballymena there, you do as well. Do you realise how much support you have from the guys down south as well? Because you do, you know, obviously over the last number of fights, your stock has risen. There's people talking about you. Do you have to keep that in check maybe a little bit, you know, in relation to pressure and expectations to keep a tab on that and maybe not let, you know, the interest and get carried away, so to speak, really?
Yeah, don't get me wrong, like it's nice. Like today, for example, I got 2 random meals from guys in Dublin saying, you know, take his head off and we get a picture with each other. So stuff like that is, like, it really is amazing. Like, I'm just a 21-year-old kid from Ballymena in my eyes, you know, but don't get me, I'm staying to my roots, you know. Hard work will get me them wins, and no, my feet are firmly on the ground, you know.
I'm expecting this fight to be one of the best fights in the card. You know, I think the BAMMA card is you know, for me it's even better than the Bellator card. You know, seeing a lot of you guys come through and now really on the big stage fighting for those titles. You know, what are we going to see? Are we going to see that first round knockout?
I just can't see how it's not going to be. I'll tell you how I see the fight going. I see us going out, you know, training hard, good heavy shots. Both of it, I can see Jai having his own success in the fight. He's a great fighter, you know. He's been training hard too. I would expect him to have a bit of success, but I believe once I clip him and put that high pressure, and I'm going to bring him to a place he's never been. You know, I heard, you know, he said something along the lines of I've never fought a striker of his level. Like, I can fire that message back and say you haven't fought anyone on my level. You know, he fought a guy, Tony Morgan. And I seen one of it in his interviews. He said he fought a guy like me. Tony Morgan is nothing like me. Like, he's lanky, yes, but he's not my caliber. Like, again, I'm not blowing one trumpet. Yeah. But like, she's just not my caliber. Like, sorry.
How good do you feel at this weight class? You know, is it the perfect weight class for you now that you've developed a little bit? You know, your body. You know, would you eventually maybe go back up to 170, or is 55 the perfect home for you?
For now, it's absolutely perfect. Yeah, I've got a nice weight cut. You know, nothing too drastic, nothing life threatening. But eventually, you know, if I grew a bit more, I got to 170. I would take short notice fights at 170. Yeah. Yeah. But
it's about slow steps at the moment. Yeah.
So said 155. I'm a 155 fighter, but good opportunities at 170, and I'll sure jump on it.
Listen, I'll see you after. I'll see you, you know, obviously during fight week up here in Dublin, Rhys. But you know, I'm sure I'll talk to you, you know, obviously post fight or whatever on Friday night. But 2017, you know, with a win of this title, it's going to set up a huge year for you, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, plenty of title defenses, 2 or 3 title defenses, and I'll start calling for that world title.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, because that's obviously on the radar next after this one. Defend it a couple of times, and then start knocking on the door for that world title.
100%. Like, that's not really mine. You know, by the end of next year, I'd say, if not bigger, I'll have that BAMMA world title. You know, and I'm telling you, I'm up there with them top 10 lightweights in the UK. Mark my words.
I agree, 100%. 100%. Rhys, listen, it's always a pleasure to catch up with you. The guys, I think, can find you on Twitter at Rhys McKee. Really looking forward to catching up with you on fight week. Do appreciate the time as always, and I can't wait for this fight on Friday night.
Perfect. Thank you very much.